Hey y'all, it's Christy Cook from Teadoddles. It's time for episode 14 of Teadoddles Talks. I had to look at my notes there to make sure. That still may not be right, y'all. I can't ever seem to get that right. But, yeah. First I'd like to say, I've noticed quite a bit of new subscribers. So, welcome new subscribers. And welcome back, subscribers. I'm always happy to have y'all here with me to listen to me chat about all my crafty endeavors. It does tend to lean more towards the fiber arts, but I do DIY projects as well. So you see a little bit of everything on this craft-related sewing, crochet, hopefully eventually knitting. I do some weaving sometimes. I haven't shown that in a while, but I like to cross stitch, latch hook. I like to paint. My favorite thing is to paint furniture or picture frames. What else do I do? I do a lot of stuff, y'all. I sew clothes. I do, if it's a craft out there, I've probably tried it. There's very few that I haven't. So that's what this podcast is all about. I try to divide it into segments: yarny goodness, fabric obsessed, and DIY and thrifty goodness. So that's what you'll see throughout the podcast. And in the beginning, I like to talk about just life news and any kind of podcast admin that I might need to go over. So let's just dig in, shall we? Today I'm drinking out of a very old coffee cup. My husband gave me this many Valentine's ago. There's a little chip right there. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's why I drink from the side. But I still love the cup. It's one of my favorites. And that is a nice fresh cup of coffee. It's just regular coffee with some of my husband's hazelnut creamer in it because I decided I wanted some of that. I already had my heavy cream cup of coffee this morning. It's my second cup. I don't know what time it is. It's a little before lunchtime, I think, on Saturday. I wanted to get this done earlier, but it just doesn't seem to happen here lately, so that's okay. Let's see. In the last podcast, I talked about Valentine's Day cards. And I'd said, I feel like it's, there we go. Felt like it wasn't focused on me. And I'd said, if you would like me to send you a Valentine's Day card, you can just email me at the email address up here. And I will send you a Valentine's Day card. If you send me your address. You have to send me your address, of course. If you tell me what kind of craft you like, that'll be helpful. It will be a Valentine's Day card, but I'll put a little extra goodie in there. So, if you would like to receive a Valentine's Day card from me, just let me know. I have a couple people who have expressed interest, so I think it'll be fun to make some new crafty pen pals. And you'll have to, you need to email me that by, what was I thinking? The first Monday in February? And my goodness, I don't know what the date is. I don't have a calendar around here with me anywhere. But yeah, the first Monday in February, I'd need your address and everything by then, just so I can see how many people I need to make cards for and everything, and get them all shipped out accordingly, especially if you live overseas. It is open to anybody. Yeah, so there's that. I have to pause. I had to run and get my mask because I forgot it. But I also talked about last week that I started a Friday night face mask. And I posted in my Instagram stories if you're interested. And seeing me look goofy with my hair pulled back and a mask on my face. So this time I tried, this is in a plastic bag because I felt like there was enough in here left for me to try to use again. So you can't really see everything because some of the stuff's come out. But it is a rose gold foil mask. It's the kind that you put on and you peel off. So I really liked it. I like peel off masks. It's just fun to peel the stuff off. I don't know why, but it is. Yeah, so I felt like this had enough in it to use again, so I put it in this plastic baggie so I could use it again when I want to. But it's Unmask Beauty is at the top, and Mask Bar, and Mask is M-A-S-Q-U-E, which is, I believe, French for mask. Don't quote me on that though. I did take 2 years of French in high school. Didn't do me much good because not many French speaking people around here, you know. No, just a teeny bit. Just a teeny bit. I know. Je suis, which means I know. And I know je ne sais pas, which means I don't know. So I figured there's just some good phrases to know. I don't know. Or I know. All right. So moving on. I had some family come visit just for a little bit. They live over near Savannah, and they just drove in for the day for a little visit. And it was my aunt and her daughter and her daughter's daughter. So Miss Mary Kate is, she loves, if they have time, to come visit my craft space. She doesn't always have time to do that, but I gave her one of my sewing machines because she wanted to learn to sew, which she has yet to be able to do because her mother hasn't had time to do that with her. But I was thinking, because I had come back to the house after school because she kept saying she was bored and I was going to bring her some things to do, and then they had decided to go. My aunt had shoulder surgery, so she was just ready to go back home and rest. I'm surprised they drove all the way over here. It hadn't been that long, 2-3 weeks since she had the surgery. So, but and I thought, well, maybe I'll just mail it to her. But I thought it might be neat to put together a little craft kit for her to do once a month and send it to her. And my dad suggested that I have lots of cousins, y'all, lots of cousins. That maybe I could send it to one of my other cousins' granddaughters. Because she likes those things. And then I thought, well, you know, I could do that for there's several little ones in the family that might enjoy that. And I thought, well, maybe I'll start doing that. Put together some kind of little kit once a month just to send to them. I have a little project to do. So I think that would be fun for them. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let y'all know. And then one more thing. Let's see. I'm going to talk about Craftsy again. I know y'all might be tired of hearing about it, and I'm sort of tired of talking about it, but they officially changed their name to Blueprint. And that kind of was expected, but what I want to talk about is, I still haven't decided if I'm keeping them as an affiliate because I'm waiting to see how they go forward with this. They kind of smacked designers and crafters in the face with their whole cleanup of the pattern area. So I'm waiting to see how that goes going forward. But I have been reading a lot of blogs about that, if they have something about the Craftsy Blueprint, just to see what other people think about it, to see what crafters in general think about it. And I've noticed in the comments that the most often the biggest complaint is about the name because it's Blueprint instead of Craftsy. It is Blueprint without the E on blue. So BLUPRINT. I even saw some comments to the nature that it was male chauvinist to be called Blueprint. And I just was kind of like, how come it's male chauvinist? As a woman in the drafting field, was a drafter for 15 years. I teach drafting. I've been teaching now for 6 years drafting. I do have predominantly male students, but that's because it's hard to get females in the field. So I look at blueprints on a regular basis, right? I've drawn plenty of blueprints. So I don't see why that's a male-only word. Technically, if you are making a quilt or using any kind of pattern to make something, that is a blueprint. So I could see how the name is related. And I just think we need to look at that in a different way, maybe. It feels like some people, and that was the biggest complaint, was the name. I found that odd. I know years ago I used to have a magazine I got. It was called Blueprint. It was a decorator magazine. And I really enjoyed it because it had lots of interesting little things in there, and they had little things you could make, and it didn't last very long. And I have to wonder if it's because most magazines like that are sold to women. If it was because they didn't like the name. And I personally don't understand that as a person who has worked in the field with blueprints on a daily basis. Blueprints are for everything. Blueprints are a plan for something you're going to make, typically. So if you look around you in your space, just about anything that's in your space had a blueprint for it before it was made. Before it was sent to manufacturing, before someone built it, before someone constructed it. They most likely did a sketch at least, or had blueprints, even if it was on the computer, which is always on the computer now, for the most part, and it was sent to a machine to produce. It was still, there's a drawing somewhere for that. So I just had to say something about that. That's all. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the name. That doesn't bother me at all. It's the way they treated the designers that bothers me. So, okay, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I do want to talk about that I am super enjoying this crafty community. I love listening to people talk about what they like to do. You can hear the joy in their voice, the happiness that it brings them to do something, the happiness that it brings them to know that other people want to listen to them talk about it. It brings me so much joy, because I don't have anybody around me that really wants to talk about that much. Not as much as I want to talk about it. Anyway, so it's nice for me to be able to talk about it and know that people actually want to listen to it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I also wanted to say that I've been hearing everybody talk about Seta from Seta's Place. And I finally got around to watching her. I don't know why it took me so long, but I can see why everybody likes her so much. Such a joyous person. Such a joyous person. And so I will be catching up on her stuff, and she's doing a crochet along. I'll talk about it in my yarny goodness. But anyway, I was excited to find another fun person to watch on YouTube. So, and let's see, some other ones that I watch that, because I don't just watch crochet podcasts or knitting podcasts. I watch podcasts for sewing, for quilting, for DIY. You know, I just watch all those podcasts. So there's a couple I wanted to mention that if you haven't ever watched before, depending on what you like to do, there's a guy called the Quilting Marine, and his wife. I really like watching it when couples kind of do it together, and even though one of them really is the one that likes the stuff, but the other person helps them make the videos. His wife helps him make the videos and things like that. And he does, well, he likes quilting, obviously, and his videos have been about him learning and finding things to make, you know, the quilting experience. And he did a thing last year where people could send in blocks, and he made a bunch of lap quilts and things for veterans. So that was really cool to watch. So I really like watching him. It's also nice to see a guy that like enjoys doing it. So yeah, you just check him out. And then, oh my goodness, now my brain's gonna go flat. I've been talking a lot to my brain sometimes, y'all. Let me try taking a sip of coffee. Maybe it'll bring it back. I've been talking to her so much. That just makes me mad. It will not come out. What is her name? I can see her face. Angela. Angela Crochet. Oh my God. Y'all, I had to look it up. I did have Angela right. Angela Crochet's art. Oh my goodness. I mean, I just been talking to her a lot in the comments the past few days, and I can't believe I couldn't remember that. My brain sometimes, it likes to hide information in there where I can't find it. Anyway, she's been making this really pretty scrap Afghan with the border. I really love it. So I've been talking to her a lot. I also enjoy talking to Carrie Penny in the comments. It's interesting to find people that you have things in common with and that you can talk to about things. It's always fun. So I was trying to think of another fabric one. I like to watch the Fold line. I don't remember who does that. But she has a pattern shop. It's for clothing patterns. Oh, I like to watch the typical crochet ones. I watch Jane at Scraptastic Yarns. I like to watch Chaos Monkey, which is Allie. She does knit and crochet. Happiness is Homemade, which is Karen, I believe. Skip to Malou. I don't remember her first name, I'm sorry. But she's having past 2 weekends, she's had a Zoom meeting where you can come in, and it's called Stitch and Sit, I think. And you can crochet and talk to a bunch of the other podcasters and other people. I watched that. She put it on her channel last week. It was really fun. I'm going to try to join in this week. We'll see. We got a storm coming in this evening, so I'm hoping it doesn't interfere. So we'll see, because it looked like a lot of fun. But yeah. So I think that's all I have for life news or podcast admin or whatever you want to call it. Time for yarny goodness. So I have finished some objects, but they are no longer in my possession. The first thing I want to talk about is I participated in the beanie swap put on by A Crafty Concept. I'll put that up here, A Crafty Concept. She's the one that hosted the beanie swap. what she did is you had to pay $5 to participate. And that was just if your partner flaked on you or something, she would send you a beanie. So that really just covers shipping. And then anything that's not you, she's donating to a charity. And I don't remember the charity, but she wasn't doing it to make a profit. She was just doing it to cover any cost if somebody didn't get their beanie for whatever reason. So then you filled out a little questionnaire, and you could say if you wanted a knit or crochet beanie. I just said either. And you put what kind of beanie you would make, which obviously for me is crochet. And then if you were willing to do international. So then she just matched everybody up and sent you the information, and I got matched with Ashley Savage of Covered in Crochet. This is her Instagram tag. Y'all can go check her out. She has an Etsy shop too. I don't think she has a podcast. I haven't seen anything about that. So, but she sells the things that she crochets. And I made her, she's already got it, so it's okay for me to show the picture. I made her the Cozy Bobble Beanie, which is, I don't remember who made that. I'll put it up here and it'll have all that information. But I used the Lion brand Heartland, because you're supposed to hold two worsted weight yarns together. I used Denali, which was a pink color, and Mount Rainier, which was a gray color, like a heathered gray and a heathered pink. And I held them together, and then I put one of the furry, fuzzy pom-poms on top. And I'm going to insert a picture here. And she has already received it. She received it yesterday. Was that right? Yesterday? Yeah. Yesterday or the day before. It was the day before. It was Thursday. Because she said mine would be here today, hopefully. So my mail runs late. I didn't get any mail yesterday, so I'm hoping that it does actually come today. But yeah, I sent her that, and she did a little Insta story about it, which is probably gone now because I put it in my Insta stories too. But she really liked the hat, which I'm glad, because sometimes when you do things like that, you don't know. I kind of checked out her her page on Instagram to see what she wore, but most of her pictures of her daughter, who is adorable. So of course she would be on there more, but I went with it, and she really liked it. And yeah, so I sent her like a little tea bag and a stitch marker, and actually I think I sent her a couple stitch markers and a card. And in the card I had written, you know, about taking the pom-pom off and stuff, which you probably already knew that, but I put it in there anyway. And the yarn I'd used, and then I had put pattern and an arrow at the bottom because I intended on writing down the pattern I used. Well, I forgot to write it in there because I went off to look it up, got distracted, obviously, and come back. It's like, okay, I'm finished. Let's package this up and send it out. So when she took her pic, she took a little layout picture of the hat and everything that came with it, and I noticed that. I was like, oh my goodness. I messaged her. I was like, I forgot to tell you the pattern. And I was explaining what happened, and then my stupid finger hit enter before I actually put the pattern on there. So then I had to do that again. I'm a big goober, y'all. I'm just a big goober. But she was like, I was wondering what the arrow was for. So that was funny. So anyway, whenever it comes in, I'll be sharing it on Instagram, so you may want to check that out. I'm looking forward to that. We both crochet, so but I'm still excited to participate. I think that's a fun thing to do. Also, the Fiber Friends thing, registration is open today. And I've been wanting to register for that for so many times, and I think this year I'm going to do it. So if you're interested in that, it's called Fiber Friends, and it's like you fill out a questionnaire kind of like I did with the beanie swap, and I think there is a fee for that too. And that covers if packages get lost or if somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to. But you have to send at least 200 grams of yarn, I think it is. You can send it from your stash or you can purchase it. I probably would purchase it just so I know from the partner what they like, you know, and stuff. And then you could put other little things in there. So I think I'm going to sign up for that this year. I think it'll be fun. And I think she does the thing where you have a partner that sends to you and then you send to another partner. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong. But, so look that up. Fiber Friends. I can't remember who puts it on. So I'll put it up here. I'll look it up and put it up here for y'all. But it seems like a really fun thing to do. So, alright. Alright. The other I finished another Autumn Infinity scarf, which that pattern's by Yarn Blossom Boutique. I've been using the sprightly yarn I had. And the latest one I gave to the cousin I mentioned that came to visit because her birthday was this past week. So I gave that to her, and then one of the other ones I'd made went to her sister because her mother asked if she could have it for her sister. So I've made 3 of those infinity scarves. I have 2 more colors to make with them, and then I have one scarf thing that was supposed to be a wrap with buttons that I haven't put together because I can't decide if I want to do it that way. So I've almost used up all of that. Like I said, I have 4 skeins of it left. 2 of each of the colors. One is a tan color and one's called pewter, which is like a dark gray, but it kind of has a sheen to it or something. It has an odd tone to it. But I'll pop a picture in right here. You can see them all kind of stacked up. But I do have the little scarf thing that folds over still, and then the blondish looking one, or it's not blonde, it's like beige, whatever color you want to call it. Oatmeal, but it's not really oatmeal. Anyway, so that was something else I finished. So since I don't have any to physically show you that I finished recently, I thought I would show you some of my amigurumi that I've made. I don't make them that frequently because with amigurumi you usually use a lot smaller hook than the yarn you're using to make the stitches tight, and that makes my fingers hurt, so I don't do it but ever so often. But anyway, this is, I don't remember her name, but I know she's from the movie Brave on Disney. There's her hair in the back. Yeah. You see her little eyelashes. Little rings. I did that with embroidery thread, the little gold around there. So this is, I don't remember her name, but I'll put it up here. But it's from that movie Brave, that Disney movie called Brave. This pattern came from Two Hearts Crochet. Is that right? Yeah, Two Hearts Crochet. They do a lot of fandom patterns. These like this are always free, but I've done testing for them in the past. I haven't done that in a long time, but that's why I made this, is to test the pattern before they release it. So I've also made a Elsa and whatever her sister's name was. I don't know, from that movie Frozen. But I gave those to my stepdaughter. She loves Disney stuff. And then I also made a Wonder Woman, which went to Miss Mary Kate because she loves Wonder Woman. So they're all about this size. They do also have whole sets, and I think they're different sets from different versions of it or something, of Star Trek characters. I want to say they even did one of the spaceship things. You know, I don't watch Star Trek, so I don't know, but they were pretty cool looking. But they have a lot of them on there. You should go check them out. These are all free patterns like this. They do have some paid patterns, but that's their own design. That's not a fandom. Because I have a shawl. It says it's called the Kraken shawl, but it has an octopus. It's like the filet crochet. I want to make that so bad. So, because I love octopus. So, so that's one. And they also do the Geek Along is what it's called every year. You can use, it's a charted pattern, so you can use it for crochet or double-sided knitting is what they call it. And they pick like different fandoms for whatever they're going with that year. They have all kinds of stuff on there. I've made some of them in the past, so I was going to do one for my son, but that takes a long time. To make all those squares. I didn't make but a few. I did Kirby. I did Sonic. As a matter of fact, hold on, I'll get them and show y'all. Okay, these are in my giveaway box because I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with them since I only made a few of them. So if somebody wants them, you can let me know. Just know I will do my best to remove dog hair from them, but get yarn from me, you may have some extra dog hair. My fur babies, you know. So this is the Sonic one. It's like his face. And I did all these with Karen Simply Soft. This is just since it's just two colors, you crochet over the, you can see in the side. You crochet over the color you're not using and carry it along the whole time. That's why it only has these ends in it. But I did Sonic. Here is Kirby. But I felt like mine were always more of a rectangle than a square. So there's Kirby. It looks the same. It's opposite on the front and back. All of them are like that. This one I did in sparkly yarns. This is the star from one of the stars from Mario. Like that. I have no idea what this one is. I'd have to look it back up, but it's some kind of game. Y'all may recognize it. I don't know what it's from. It was something my son had picked out. So, I don't know what that one is. And I also don't know what this one is. It's from some game as well. Because this was the year they were doing video game fandoms. So that's why my son, I was going to make that for my son. But that's the only 4 I got done. I had another one started, but I frogged it because I was like, I'm never going to finish these. He's not interested in it anymore. Yeah. So these are slated for giveaway. So if anybody happens to want them, let me know. I will send them to you because I don't know what else I would do with them. Honestly, because I could make a pillow, but I don't know who would even want. I don't have anybody who would really want a pillow out of it. I've asked my son. He's like, not really. So, all right. Let's show you my other amigurumis. This is my little gnome. Look at it. I really love him. This back side. You just kind of make this little weeble wobble rounded top thing, and then you crochet the beard and you put it on, and the little arms, and then the nose, and then you put the hat over the top of everything. So I really like him. I sent one of these to my friend Monique because she loves gnomes. I love gnomes and mushrooms. But this is the pattern. I paid for this pattern on Etsy, and I don't remember who it's from. I'll put it up here. But the pattern is, this is the smallest gnome. So it has 3 different sizes. So I'd like to make one in each of the other 2 sizes. And most of this thread is Knit Picks, Comfy Sport. So, except for his beard, and I can't remember what that is. But this one, her hair is Knit Pick Comfy Sports, and then the other is like, it's probably either Vanna's Choice or Red Heart or something like that. I can't remember. But I know for sure her hair is Comfy Sport because I can touch it and tell it's very soft. So, there's those 2. And this one is probably one of my favorites. It's going to be hard to show. But I have, this is a fire pit. It has these little rocks, which are removable. The center portion is not removable, but the little rocks or whatever that go around the fire pit are. And then I have these little mushrooms that sat beside it. Not mushrooms, marshmallows. There's one of them. And then there is this one. He is very upset because his head is melting. So, that's terrible, isn't it? So we have Fred and Ted, right? Maybe we should put Fred over here. This is a little arm. I put these wire. The pattern I had was just, I added the little face features. It just had little dots for the face, and I added the wire arms. So I put this, he was on this side. I put a picture like last year or maybe even the year before of this on my Instagram feed. And I said, you know, Fred and Ted were horrified to learn that the urban myths about standing too close to the fire were true. If you get too close to the fire, and his head started melting because he's a marshmallow. Yeah. I have, kind of looks like he's got red lips, but that's supposed to be him opening his mouth and going, ah! So he has his little hand up there, his melty head. So, yeah. Anyway, that's one of my favorite ones that I've made. These are the only ones I have here. Most of the time, the stuff goes to other people if I make them. I've made little owls for my son and stepdaughter. I've made a hedgehog for my stepdaughter. I made a penguin for my son, which he still has, which is quite funny, but he does. So those are my amigurumi, since I couldn't show you any other finished objects. I'd given them all away already. All right, moving on. I want to talk a little bit about when I posted my pictures about doing my mask, I was also talking about yarn winding. So this is, these are all scrap cakes, except for a couple little bonbon things I got going on down here. So I put the same weight together, and then I do the magic knot, and then I wind it up. I did a whole post about this, making scrap yarn cakes. So I have some that are number 5 or bigger yarn, and then I have the worsted weight number 4s, and then I think I have one in there with the Knit Picks yarn. It's up under the, that I have left over, the Comfy Sport. So this is like a, get sheets or a blanket in, this little thing. These make great yarn holders. So I got all that up and weighed so I could start adding it up to my yarn total I told you about, which keeps going up, by the way. It hasn't gone down yet because I didn't have everything in it. It's over 60,000 yards. I still don't have everything in it, so my aim is to have that finished by the end of the month, and then I can have an exact total, and then I can, because it's going to include whips. If I haven't finished it, it's going to include whips. So, because I was going to cut that in half, but I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. But this little box here, this is where I put all of my, like when you snip the ends, or if it's just not long enough for me to want to put a knot in the cake, that's where this goes. I have some small bits, little bits of fun fur in here too. And I use this in my fabric art and my yarn art things that I do, so, but I keep it all in here. I don't throw any of it away, which is becoming a problem. Gotta use this stuff and get it out of my space, because when we get to fabric obsessed, you'll see my scrap problem with fabric is way worse. So I do have one acquisition to share with you. My Jimmy Beans crochet box has not made it to me yet. I got an email from them saying that basically they're on one side of a mountain that had a snowstorm and the yarn's on the other side. So hasn't made it to them yet. So we'll see how it goes. I did watch Carrie Penny's review of her Jimmy Bean Knit Club. And I have to say, that box is $5 more for whatever reason. It's $15 for the Crochet Club. It's $20 for the Knit Club. But she seems to be getting about the same thing. Maybe sometimes less than what we get in the crochet kit. So I don't understand how that works. Because crochet takes more yarn to make a project. So I don't know. Maybe there's different people doing the clubs. I don't know, but that just seems weird to me. But anyway, and if you watched my review, you probably already saw this yarn, because I am doing a different club from Etsy, a yarn club from Etsy each month to try out different indie dyers and things. But I also thought, you know, some of the places, yarn clubs, they have their own website. They're not on Etsy, so it may or may not be on Etsy. It could be if it's off Etsy or anything. So, but this month I got from Clark and L, which is a beautiful yarn. I love it. This was, her club is a movie club, and so this month, January, was The Princess Bride, and this is based on the Man in Black from the movie. And I was like, okay, so that makes sense. But then she commented on my Instagram post, because I tagged her in it, and she explained it even further, and it made more sense that, you know, he has the blue, I always talked about his blue eyes, which is why you got the lighter blues in there, and his blonde hair, which is why you have the yellows in there. I was like, oh, that makes even more sense now. So I think she did a really awesome job of depicting the Man in Black from The Princess Bride. And I really love this yarn, so y'all should go check her out. That's Clark and L. She has a podcast, although I know she only had 2 episodes, and the last one was posted 8 months ago, so maybe go check her out. I think she mostly knits, but I haven't gotten to watch one all the way through, so maybe if you go watch her, she'll post another podcast. But I wanted to say that look how well this goes with my Malabrigo I got. Look. And since they're both 400 yards or better, I could get a really cool shawl or something out of that. So that was really neat. They match really well. So that's all the yarn. Of course, I'm on a restriction from buying crappy things. Now I have put things in a cart and be like, no, you can't do this. I'm being good. Now, one thing I have noticed is a lot of those indie dyers have mini skeins that aren't that expensive, and I'd really like to start collecting those, because I've seen a lot of people make little blankets with their mini skeins or whatever, and I think that would be fun to do. And plus you get to try out their yarns in a smaller portion. So the only other thing I did order some more pom-poms, because I owe a pom-pom to someone I made a hat for. And then I had, I put my last pom-pom on my Beanie Swap Partners hat. So, yeah. I love these pom-poms, y'all. I did notice that these have white ties, and the last one had black. Doesn't matter, you can't see it. But these go with so many different colored hats. And again, I got these from Our Nest Creations on Etsy. They're only $3 a piece, which is a pretty good price for a big old pom-pom. So, all right. Oops. I'm going to have to pop this in the middle of my yarny goodness, or at the end of it or something, because I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing. No, I did not make this. This is a ready-to-wear thing that I bought a long time ago, but it's one of my favorite things. It is obviously knitted, but by machine most likely. But you can kind of see, you can't see that. I don't know if I can back up enough. It kind of drapes down and it's rounded at the bottom because it's like a big circle. You can see that with the arms. The reason I wanted to talk about it is because it is one of my favorite cardigans. I love the way it drapes. It's really flattering for my shape in particular because I'm heavier on the bottom. And I want a little of the detail, even though this is old and peely. For my first garment pattern, I would like to make a crochet version of this. You know, I think it's just a circle with arms, really, and I've seen other things like that, but just usually it's a mandala that they do. I would like to just do this kind of thing. So anyway, I forgot to talk about that, and I put it on to purposely talk about that. When I got to the end of the video, I realized I didn't talk about that. So I'm just popping that in here to say that I'd like to see what y'all think about that. I really like this cardigan. It's one of my favorites. And as I said, it is a ready-to-wear or RTW garment that I've had for years. I would just like to make a crocheted pattern that resembles this. So tell me what you think. All right, back to their regular stuff. Time for Fabric Obsessed. So, I didn't get to cut out my shirt that I wanted to do. I'm planning on doing that this weekend. I got a long weekend because Monday is a holiday. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So the schools are out. So I have an extra day for the weekend. So I plan on cutting that out in between editing and exporting and uploading the video. So hopefully before the end of the weekend I'll have a new shirt. But I did get, well, first I'm going to talk about my scrap hoarding problem with the fabric. And what I'm doing to record my fabric, because I have talked about what I'm doing to record my yarn, but not my fabric. I may have talked about it a little bit, but I don't think I've talked about it that much. But this right here, yeah. You see this? This is one of those things that had cheese puffs in it. My son had it. I cleaned it out, and I've been tucking away. These are like the super small scraps that most normal people don't keep, like the dog ear corners and the little trims. Yeah. And I have thrown some away here recently when I've been doing stuff because I'm running out of room to store them. This thing can't really hold much more. The reason I save these is for art, like my sewing art and my fiber art that I do, which I haven't got to do in a while. And I really, and then I have done some things and it didn't barely made a dent in this. So one of my goals is to work through all my fabric scraps this year. I will be doing projects that require use my yardage, but my biggest goal is to work through fabric scraps because I have all of this. And then this wasn't a big tube that was up on my shelf, but this is not yarn in here, even though it says yarn. No. This is fabric scraps. You can't really see in there, but this is mostly the strips Like usually they have to be smaller than an inch. Because I'm doing, all right. Let me move this big old honking thing out the way. This is what I'm doing. I separated my colors into baggies, but I'm making these blocks to make a quilt, which here is, because I don't just, you can see that I leave raw edges sometimes because I think that's just fun. I stitch over the top. I use different fabrics because that's a flannel, but I use the curved edge to sew over the top of the other one instead of sewing under. And eventually this will become a quilt. There's another one with blues. And I'm doing that on purpose because I just want to keep some fabric themes together. It's not necessarily colors, because this is green and browns. When I find things I like that go together, I'll put them in a block. I just sew the strips together and then cut. There's another brown and green. That's a flannel right there. These are black and white and gray ones. And you can see that sometimes I have ends where I've made other strips, and I'll sew that in there. So that's a bunch of little strips that I cut and put in a different way. And these, most of the time that I sew on top are the bias edges. So they're stiffer anyway. They don't come apart as easy. But if you sew over the top, they're only going to unravel for so far. So here is that one. And then one more with the black, white, and grays. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Anytime I have a strip, especially if it's a really long strip, because I have another one going over here, which is more apparel materials, flannels and corduroys and stuff like that. So that's what that's for. It's just gotten out of control because, as you can see, I haven't put much work into it. And plus I have, these are all fabric scraps. And this big one up here, which had a tag on it, it must have fallen off. But I divide them up by the size if they're big enough to use for other quilt blocks. So these are filled with things, and I have a thing about keeping triangles. Y'all, it's a problem. I have also, I'm going to put in a picture of this tub that I have. It's full of mostly apparel scraps. It's a big old tub. I have kind of a list on the front where I talk about it. Yeah, I may have a little issue with the fabric. Well, fiber arts in general, any kind of textile type thing are my favorites. So that is something I'll be working on, using up my scraps, because I have way too many scraps. I have a lot of fabric, I will admit, and I will insert a picture of my fabric shelf right here. Just in case you haven't seen it, if you're a part of my Teadoddles Makers group, I did put a picture, I did post a video in there with a tour of my craft room before. I have been working to clean it up. Hopefully I'll be finished this weekend, and I'll be doing another video in there if you want to take a look to see more of the space when it's cleaner. So, and the thing that I'm doing to keep up with, this is my fabric sewing book thing. I have one like this for my these are the happy planners, and I'm converting them into, I have one that's actually my planner, and then that's bigger, and then I'm using it for my different things. So I did very much the same thing that I did with the calendar pages. I just blocked them out so I can fill in projects and things like that. I haven't been put that in here yet, but I do have back here. Most of the time when I order from Fabric Mart, they always have a sticker with information, so I try to keep that. And I will put a fabric sample beside these. I haven't done that yet, but these are some index cards I had started. And then they have a piece of the fabric, and it has all the information. And I do them front and back. And I just use my little hole puncher to punch in here, and I kind of staggered them like that. And then I keep any little, like this is from the blanket kit that I did for my niece for Christmas. And then tags, and whenever some of it I've got to go through and find the scraps to put a little piece in there. And that's the whole point of this, to keep up with the fabric I have used in the past for certain things. And I'll do a project page for anything I use in a project. So yeah, so it's kind of similar to my crochet one, which I'll put a little yarn sample for my projects, but this one's for fabric projects. So now I do have some new purchases, because I do have 2 fabric clubs I joined this year. One is the Tilla Lily Fat Quarter Club. I'm not going to put it, well, I'll put a link to her website, because you can't join this right now. You have to wait till the end of the year, and she has sign-ups open. Because she wants the sign-ups before the year, so she knows how many she has. So she has one that is where you get 10 fat quarters, and one where you get 5 fat quarters. I signed up for the 5 fat quarter one because it was, I believe it's $15 plus shipping. I'm fairly certain on that, because it was $18.95 or something like that for this. So I get 5 fat quarters, and the first month for January is Mighty Machines by Lydia Nelson of Dreamy Quilts for Moda Fabrics. And I'll put all that up here. So I did watch someone else open a box with all 10 fat quarters. And when I first got mine, I was a little disappointed because it's mostly the neutral prints. There were some colors. It's like a tealy blue and orangey kind of colors throughout. But then I thought, well, you know what? I really needed some more neutral prints. So, but this is a really cute print. And you might think, because it's Mighty Machines, that it wouldn't be something you could use if you didn't have a boy to make a quilt for. But these prints are really cool. So I'm going to show you them. This is the first one. It has like propellers and tires and gas pumps and a little railroad crossing and a what you call that, red light. All right, and then this one has airplanes on it. Yeah, and I like that the neutrals are, it's not white, it's like a cream with the kind of gray. I like that. And this one is really, it's supposed to be tires, but it doesn't necessarily look like tires. It just looks like dots. So it could really be used for anything. And then this one does have a little color in it. It is vehicles going across. There we go. And then this last one's really cute. It has a little color in it also. It's actually puppy dogs parachuting. Yeah. So, I do like them. It wouldn't be something I would probably pick out for myself, which is what's always fun about these to me, because I get to try something I probably wouldn't have picked out myself. So, I'm glad to have the neutral prints, and they're actually can be useful for lots of different things. So that is, again, the Tilla Lily Fat Quarter Club. And this was my first bundle. So yeah, that is a fun one to have. And the next is, I signed up for the Darn Good Fabric of the Month Club. And this is from Darn Good Yarns. I did a whole review video about it, so I'm not going to pull them all out. I'm just going to kind of show it to you again here. But they do have a fabric. It's basically a fat quarter one too. You get 4 fat quarters. Let's see, that one had 5 fat quarters, which was $15. So that makes them $3 a fat quarter, which is, you know, $2.50 to $3.50 is about what you're going to pay for a fat quarter, with a designer print on it. Yes, at Joann's you can get them for 99 cents, but those are lower quality fabrics. Typically, I compare it to a higher thread count sheet versus a lower thread count sheet. So that's why they cost less. Sometimes you can find a good one, but usually they are stiffer, and it's not a designer print, which would mean a fabric designer that's popular in the fabric world. So this is, and I do believe that this one, as I said in the preview video, doesn't always have silk fabric, but I'm not sure about that. I read some of the comments because I thought that's all it would be, but it seems like maybe sometimes it's not, but maybe linen and stuff. But it is going to be, I don't think it's going to be cotton at all. But it comes in the same box that the Yarn Club comes in. The very same box. You do get this pattern, which I'm probably going to make these little blocks and then sew them into some kind of lap blanket at the end. You also get a sample card of either ribbon or yarn. We got ribbon this time. And then the pack of fabric is wrapped in ribbon as well. These are what I got. These 4 here. These are silk. Some had print, some were solid. But you can watch my review video to see more about them. I held them all up and showed you all about them. So, and that is something, I really like that because it'll be a different kind of quilt when I get done with it than what I normally make. So, but it's definitely have to figure out how to take care of that, because silk is not something you're supposed to, like, if you're gonna iron silk, and I talked about that some in the video, you need to put a pressing cloth over it for sure, and you don't need to use steam because water can damage silk and leave stains, so you have to be careful about that. So even though you do typically like silk yarn and stuff, it's just different than taking care of other yarns and fibers in general. So let's see. Yep, I think that's it for fabric at the moment. At least I had a little more than I usually have been having, right? All right, time for DIY and thrifty goodness. So, no, I have not been to a thrift store still, which makes me sad because I really want to go, but I am going to insert a picture here of this really cool crate that my dad got from a friend of his. He was hauling it off somewhere when he came out of his house, and he said, hey, I didn't want to keep that. So we've been discussing what we might do with that. I'm going to insert that picture here. It's just mostly 2x4s, pine wood. I think that's what my dad said, but so we've talked about some different ideas, so hopefully that'll be something we get to work on soon. I like finding things like that. My dad and I are kind of alike on those things. Sometimes I'll see something in a thrift store or wherever and be like, I know exactly what I want to do with that. You know, it'll come to me instantaneously. But sometimes I'm like him, I see something, I'm like, that's really cool. I need to have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to keep it for later. So that's the case with that. So we'll see where that ends up. I did do another Pinterest challenge on the blog this week, and that's with another group of bloggers, and it's put on by the woman from My Pinter Ventures, and that's her blog, and you sign up for it, and you're supposed to find a pen and actually try the pen. Like, we're always saving projects to try and patterns to try, So the goal of this challenge once a month is to find a pen and actually make the project or the recipe or whatever it may be. Excuse me, my mouth is getting so dry. So this time, and I did show this on Instagram too, I decided to make a giant paper rose because I have several pens about making paper flowers and stuff. I have lots of scrapbook stuff, y'all. And I don't know if I've ever... Well, I have completed some scrapbooks. I will take that back. I've made them for other people. But personally, I've never completed a scrapbook for me, which is crazy. But this is my paper rose. If I can hold it up. It's very big. See? Yeah, so that you can see it's bigger than my head. And I have a big head, so it's very large, which is, it's a giant paper rose. And I will link to my blog post, which has the information about the pen from that came from a blog that shows you how to do this. She has, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry. I'll put it up here. She has a video and written instructions, and then she has a template that you print out for the petals and the leaves. So I would like to make more of these. In her video, and she, in the example, the written, she did a solid color. It looked almost like construction paper. And then in the video, she did regular printer paper, but she did watercolor on the edges. I'd like to try that. So I used, you can kind of see that this is blue on this side, and then it's pink on the other side. Well, if I can hold it right, maybe you'll see it. But this is a double-sided paper. It's pink, which doesn't pick up very good. Let's see. And then it's blue on the other side, which you can see sometimes. And then these leaves are actually double-sided with that. And then they have that on the other side, which you don't actually see. But I used a color pencil to do the veins on it. This was fairly easy to do. The instructions are pretty good. Good templates. Use a hot glue gun to hold things together. The most challenging thing is to roll it and stuff in a way that looks like a flower. So I missed a step on the bottom petals where you're supposed to slit the middle and tuck it under to make it fold up more. So I just left it open because sometimes roses, I have 2 rose bushes, so they do that sometimes. But I just used on the interior, this is a one-sided thinner paper in different colors because I didn't have enough sheets of the same color, but I really like this. I like how it turned out. Yeah. And I want to make some more of them because once I redo my shelf, my mantle shelf for spring, I'd like to have some of these going up the wall and around it or something. I don't know. I have an idea in my head. We'll see how it goes. Y'all, confession time. My Christmas decorations are still up. That's horrible. It's almost the end of January. But I plan on taking them down this weekend. I got them put up so late. I don't know. It was like I didn't get in a rush to take them back down. So they will be down before the end of the weekend. I just, my mother couldn't believe that. But, yeah, everything's still up. Even my tree, which is just a tabletop tree, but everything's still up. Still Christmas in my house. So, anyway, and you can join in, if you have a blog, you can join in these challenges. There's always a link on my post if you want to join in for the month. You don't have to sign up for the whole year. You just sign up per month. So, yeah. If you think that's something you'd like to do, you should check it out. And it's not limited to any specific craft because and you can do cooking or a project. It's just whatever you've pinned that you want to try. So that's something to think about. Let me see. Yeah. I got one more thing. Hold on just a second. All right. I've decided it's time for another giveaway. As I said before, I did one every Saturday in December. It was all from my stash, which is what it will typically be on here, is from my stash. So, and I said I would do some probably about once a month, but I'm not going to say when it's going to be. You'll just have to watch the podcast to see. It will not be in the title, because I'd like it to go to somebody who actually enjoys the podcast and not just people who are trying to win free stuff, which I understand, but I like to feel like it's going to a crafty friend, if that makes any sense. So, for this giveaway, I have, and I got these off of the big Hobby Lobby yarn sale. I have these two. Well, I thought I had that turned around right, but I don't. This is Yarn Bee Alpine Authentic. And I don't think they make this anymore or carry it anymore. So this one is neutral. And then this one is called Sidewalk Hopscotch, which I find odd. It may look like a sidewalk, but I guess the hopscotch is the white chalk. I don't know. But, yeah. This is, both of these are 3.5 ounces or 100 grams, 126 yards, 115 meters. It is 75% acrylic, 25% polyamide. It is a number 5 yarn. And I picked these specifically because these are the same two yarns I used in my Pixel and Lace scarf, my Pixel and Lace heart scarf pattern. No, I can't even say the name of my own pattern. Which I do have a 2-part blog post about putting it together, and I have 2 videos about doing it. So, and in the video, I used Heartland, Lion Brand Heartland to do the edging. So I am including what I have left of it. I'm pretty sure it will be enough to do the border, depending on how many hearts you make, okay? If I find that for some reason, I've weighed this, but I forgot to look at the weight compared to a weight of a full skein. If I find that it wouldn't make the whole scarf like I made, I will tell you to leave out some hearts when I send it to you, okay? So, and you don't have to make that pattern. You can make whatever you want to, but that's why I'm giving it away. I'm giving away these 2 full skeins and this partial skein, and I don't remember the name of this, but it is Heartland. It is the Lion Brand Heartland color. I just love the way it looks. And then I will, at the end of this video, pop a picture of my scarf so you can remember what it is. Since Valentine's is around the corner, it will be great for that. So you may want to put a different color than this with it, but I'm sending it with it anyway. So that is my giveaway for the week. For the month, not the week. And it's also part of my destashing because I'm trying to get my yarn cut down. But, yeah. So, let's see. I would like you to comment. Yes, you have to be a subscriber and comment on the video. It'd be nice if you liked the video. Usually I have you answer a question. And if you do not answer the question in the comments, I'm going to assume you don't want to enter the giveaway. So you have to answer the question to be entered. That may change when I have more subscribers to look through comments. But for now, that's the way I'm leaving it. What I want to ask is, do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Since this is my Pixel and Lace Heart scarf. Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Do you make a big deal out of it like some people do? I feel like some people get carried away with it and forget the true meaning of it. It's supposed to be to celebrate love, basically. My husband and I typically, we don't always exchange gifts. that has gone bad in the past because I'm a big giver, in case you hadn't noticed. My husband doesn't think about those things. He really just doesn't. It's not because he doesn't care. He's just not a very romantic person. Every once in a while he will surprise me, like with this. But usually he doesn't think about it until it's too late. So what we do now, we don't exchange cards or gifts or anything like that. We did cards in the past. We typically, we do not go out to eat on Valentine's Day because it is way busy and I do not want to deal with that. We usually have a house date or whatever you want to call it. We watch a movie, we maybe order some Chinese or something like that and just spend time together. So that's kind of what we do. If we do anything, we say Happy Valentine's Day, we give a hug and a kiss, you know, all that stuff. So it's not, I don't like to get get carried away with it. But I just like to know, what do you do for Valentine's Day? Do you do anything? Do you celebrate it even? Is it just another day on the calendar for you? So that is what I'm asking. And then if you answer the question in the comments and you're subscribed, you'll be entered to win this. And this is enough to make my scarf pattern. And plus, I will send you a PDF of the pattern. The pattern is free on my blog, but it is just, you know, written out. But I will send you a PDF of the pattern. I'm hoping to put a PDF up on Ravelry soon for most of my patterns. Okay. Got interrupted by a phone call. But I'm almost at the end. So, like I said, answer my question in the comments to be entered. I will send you this yarn plus a PDF of my pattern. And that's all I have to say for this week. I think this has run really long. I don't know. I had to break it up a lot. So, I will talk to y'all next. Well, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. It's always nice to meet new crafty friends. Be sure to check out all the other crafty people on here. Lots of talented people. Yeah, I will talk to y'all later.